Hi guys, welcome back to my Learn Guitar series, and we're going to talk about a few different topics today. The biggest concept that this video is going to be about is fretboard memorization. Now I realized while going through teaching some basic aspects of right hand and left hand work, I realized I was going to do a video about how to read guitar music, but in order to even get to that point, you have to have an idea of where those notes are on the fretboard before you can know where the note is on the guitar and how to associate it with what's written on the page. And that's an entirely different skill. So I figured we'd take a step back and talk about fretboard memorization. Now, the first thing that, the main thing I want you to get out of this, there's no shortcut. There's no easy way out. There's, no matter who tries to sell you or what people try to tell you, at least this is my philosophy, there's not really any short way or easy way to do it. You just have to have discipline and sit down and do the work. Now, I can offer you suggestions and things that I personally did to learn the things that I know, but you are you, and the only way that you are going to learn is by doing things the way that you do them. But I will give you some suggestions that could potentially help you get there. It's all about discipline. But there are three pillars that I would say that are helpful, at least they were to me. And it involves your vision, what you see, your hearing, what you hear, and the most important, because we're playing music, and the feeling. How does it feel in your body, on your hands, physically? How does it feel? I think those are some, I was trying to boil this down, and I think that is some of the most important concepts and how you can begin fretboard memorization. I'm not going to go over every combination of note, every arpeggio, every different pattern, every chord pattern, all that kind of stuff, because that kind of stuff is only good for you in your self-discovery. The best way that anybody learns, and myself included, is by doing it. So, people can show you a million things, but if you don't discover it yourself, you're not going to learn it. I mean, that's just, at least from my experience. And, there's books out there that, like, I got this one when I was first trying to learn all this stuff, the Little Black Book of Scales. Now, this was good when I was a beginner, and I was going through it and trying to understand all this stuff, but this book gives you hundreds of scales. Honestly, though, if you don't discover it yourself, you're not going to learn it. It can point you in the right direction, but it's not an end-all be-all. So let's talk about the guitar now. Let me grab this. I just got to adjust this camera. I apologize, so you can see better. Alright. I'll just go over a couple of things that I found to be helpful. So first things first, before you get into the three pillars that I described and start memorizing notes, you got to know what the names of the strings are. So very quickly, I'll just go over the names of the strings. The sixth string is E, fifth string is A, fourth string is D, third string is G, second string is B, first string is E. That's key to progressing any further. You have to have those memorized. And how you can apply those three pillars I talked about to open strings, or strings that you're not fretting, is look at the string, look how your finger sits on the string, or your pick if you're using a pick. Hear how it sounds when you pluck it. Visually see what it looks like, and feel it in your fingers. How does it feel? And then on top of that, say the note name. So just go E, A, D, G, B, E. Now this looks easy because I've been doing it for a long time, but at first you're going to be like, E, oh wait, what was that? A. Something to help with that is you can use different sayings. So elephants and donkeys get big ears, or Eddie ate dynamite. Goodbye. and that will help you to memorize those strings. So work on it every day until you get it. How long really just depends on you, how much work you put into it, and how your brain works. Not everybody's brain works the same, so it will take some people smaller amounts of time, and it will take people like myself longer amounts of time. So just work on it and trust the process. That's the biggest thing with guitar, is just trust the process, because you will get there as long as you keep doing the right things, which, works for life too. All right. Next thing I would suggest is when you start to work down the fretboard, just note key things along the way. So, for example, um, you got to know what the musical alphabet is. So, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G is the musical alphabet. H through Z is not in the musical alphabet. We just repeat and go back to A. So, and then just know that E and F are right next to each other on the piano, and B and C are right next to each other on the piano. And there's no sharp or flat. So you got to start there, and then you can start going through your strings. So start with the sixth string, for example. We'll say E, feel it, look how it looks, hear how it sounds. F, which is the first fret, because there's no sharp or flat. G is the third fret. We're going to skip that sharp or flat on the second fret. So E, F, G, and then go down to the fifth fret. A, B, and then remember B and C are right next to each other. Right? Well, one thing you'll notice is that at the fifth fret, this is A, which is the same as the fifth string open. And that pattern repeats all the way down. So this is D, that's D open. This is G, that's G open. The only exception is on the third string, you go to the fourth fret, just because that's how the guitar is tuned. And that's B, which is B open, and then go back to fifth fret. Right there, you've only gone through one set of notes, but you realized, oh, wait a second. Okay, so I can remember that all the way down there. So that makes memorization easier. You'll also notice when you get to the 12th fret, that's high a little. Oh wait, that's an E. E, E. What's next? F. And it repeats. So 12th fret is basically the nut here, and then it repeats the notes that you already went through up to the 12th fret, all the way through. So that will help with memorization. Another thing that I would suggest that helps with memorization is just knowing where your octaves are. So, for example, like I said, I'm not going through all the patterns, but I'll go through one pattern starting on the sixth string, and you can start to see different shapes. Now, the brain likes to take the easy way out, because humans don't like to feel like they're in a bad position in life. So we always try to take the easier, more comfortable way. Makes sense. Evolutionarily speaking, it makes sense. I don't even know if that's a word. Anyways, so that's why saying the name of the note is important, so that you don't just memorize patterns, that you're actually learning the names of the notes. So always say them when you're first learning. Anytime you learn a new chord shape or something, say all the note names. That really helps. But for example, F is here, sixth string, first fret, and then if you go to the third fret and you play the fourth string, that's also an F. Okay? And then we can notice, or the fourth string of the third fret, and then we can notice if we go to the first string, which is E, oh wait, these are both E's, so that makes memorization easier because they're basically the same. It's going to be the same notes on both strings, so there's less notes there. And so the first fret on the first string is also F. So you can, oops, sorry. So, oh, okay, those are octaves. And you can go all the way down the fretboard. So that frees you up on having to memorize every single note. I mean, eventually, if you do this enough, you will just know where all the notes are. Occasionally, you'll have a memory slip. That happens to everybody. Nobody's perfect. You can't have all the notes memorized all the time. It's impossible. But you can use these tricks to help you get there. So then if you're like, okay, well, where is the notes in B major? Well, I know there's a B here, 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 and then you can begin to fill in the places. That's the point of that. So like, learn your octaves. Another thing that's helpful is to learn arpeggios and scales. So, when you're learning a scale, for example, just use C major, just say the note names. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, B, A, G, sorry, F, E, D, C. And that will help you memorize it too. Going backwards and saying the letter names backwards is hard. I just messed it up. It's hard, but that will reinforce your memory even further because through uh, putting yourself through hard things is how you learn from them. Because when you come out of that, you learn your mistakes, you learn everything about that particular part. It was hard, so it reinforces the memory. So with your scales, do that. Then learn your arpeggios. So just C, E, G, B, D, F. Arpeggiate means take a chord and just play the single notes of it. And feel how that feels, see what it looks like, hear what it sounds like, and then you'll know where those notes are. But make sure you say them. So it's like skips a note, C, E, G, B, D, F. And once you start figuring this stuff out, you can start to move down the fretboard and realize the patterns that you'll see, that things repeat, and it'll make memorizing a lot easier. Same thing with chords. When you're learning chords, press it like we'll just do this A major. Just know where all your A majors are, and keep going all the way down. Learn the inversions of chords, meaning what note is in the bass. Learn. It sounds like I'm saying learn everything, but that's really what you need to do. Is all the different kind of. Anytime you learn something new, say the note names, look how it looks, see how it sees visually, and hear how it hears. I mean, and that's really all. That's what it is. That's how you get there and memorize the note names on the guitar. So I hope that was helpful. I don't know if it was, but basically, like, the philosophy behind being a musician and the philosophy about being a human in life is that it's hard. And the only way to get through it is to keep pushing forward with discipline and a good attitude, and you will achieve success. And just know that there's no finish line as well. I think that's often what happens with everybody in life, but musicians in particular for this subject, because we want to be that guitar hero. Everybody always has an idol, somebody that they look up to, which isn't a bad thing. When you're young, like, that can get you moving. You're like, oh man, Johnny Ramone sounds great. I want to play like Johnny Ramone. That was one thought I had at one point, and then I realized, do I really though, or do I just like how this makes me feel? And that's the most important part. It's not about making money. It's not about shredding fast guitar solos. Um, if you want to do that stuff, that's great. Do it. I encourage that for sure. And because you will learn so much about yourself going through hard things. But don't put it on a pedestal. Don't, to quote 40-year-old virgin, don't put it on a pedestal. Don't put guitar on a pedestal. Don't put different people on a pedestal, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And those people got to where they are through hard work, through discipline, and then by having a positive attitude. So you can do it. We all do it. Work a little bit every day instead of a lot in one chunk, and you'll get there. All right, guys. Thank you for watching this. I hope that was helpful. And then when you're ready, the next video will be about learning how to read guitar music and some helpful tips and tricks. See you later.